NBA on NBC. The 1992 NBA playoffs. Today, it's the Chicago Bulls versus the New York Knicks.
This is Madison Square Garden in New York, the home of the revitalized New York Knicks. A sellout crowd turning out for Game 3 of the best of 7. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, and certainly the surprise of this series has been the play of the New York Knicks, a very physical New York Knicks club, as the Detroit Pistons can certainly attest to, and their physical style has apparently affected the Chicago Bulls.
Marv, there's no question. New York was determined to start out from the beginning of Game 1 and play it their way, their style of play, a very bruising one at that. Throughout the entire 48-minute contest, there will be bodies up against bodies. Nothing comes easy. No easy shots, no easy scores. As a result, New York has averaged 7 more rebounds a game, 7 more personal fouls a game. At the end of Game 2, Michael Jordan misses 3 out of 4 free throws and admittedly has a very poor second half. Chicago normally shooting over 50% during the regular season, shooting just 45 now. So I would expect New York to continue that style of play.
And Mike, over the first 2 games, the team coming away with the victory has been the team getting the most out of its bench.
Pat Riley experimented during the course of the season to see which combination of players would be most productive, but I think most people would agree that Chicago's bench was deeper and better, but not the case in Game 1, a New York victory. The Knicks bench came on the floor, outscored and out-rebounded the Chicago Bulls. In fact, Phil Jackson was so concerned at halftime that in the second half he went the majority of the minutes with his starters. In Game 2, Jackson showed a little more confidence. The reserves came on and did the job, outscoring the Knicks bench, and Chicago came away with the victory. So the key here this afternoon could be the play of both benches.
All right, and when we come back, Michael Jordan and his Chicago Bulls will look to recapture their championship form against Patrick Ewing and a hungry group of New York Knicks. Well, back at Madison Square Garden, we are set for the introduction of the starting lineups. Let's go to the public address voice of Knick basketball. Here is Mike Walczewski.
Go, Bobby, go.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. Today's round 2 Eastern Conference semifinal game features the Chicago Bulls and your New York Knicks. Here are today's starting lineups. First for Chicago, at guard at 6'2" from Notre Dame, number 5, John Paxson. At guard at 6'6" from North Carolina, number 23, Michael Jordan. Forward at 6'7" from Central Arkansas, number 33, Scottie Pippen. And forward at 6'10" from Clemson, number 54, Horace Grant. And at center at 7'1" from San Francisco, number 24, Bill Cartwright. The head coach of the Bulls, Phil Jackson. Chattanooga, number 21, Gerald Wilkins. And forward at 6'8" from Wichita State, number 32, Xavier McDaniel. And forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley. And at center at 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, Patrick Ewing. Coach of the Knicks, Pat Riley. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please all rise for the presentation of colors by the New York Army National Guard. And to sing the national anthem this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our special guest, Columbia recording artist, two-time Grammy winner, Michael Bolton.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we had at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. On the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran clear upon bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave on the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Big finish from two-time Grammy winner Michael Bolton, a local area product, and it's only fitting that we make the transition from one heartthrob to another. Here's Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Marv. I talked to Michael Jordan about his lack of dunks and his lack of driving to the hole. And he said, you know, there's two reasons why I have not gone in the paint trying to dunk. One named Ewing, the other named Oakley. Makes sense to me. Last week I reported that Pippen and Jordan called Oakley to encourage him to beat Detroit. They did. Then Lambeer, after the game, encouraged the Knicks to beat the Bulls. They did. Well, today I found out there have been no phone calls to the locker room, so I guess that these two teams will just have to find the inspiration from among themselves. And with this crowd and the way it is here today, they'll have no problem doing that. Marv?
All right, Ahmad. And the officials are Darryl Garretson, Bob Delaney, and Steve Javy. And you get the feeling that to set the tone early, as we saw in Game 1 in Chicago, we could have a flagrant foul called right at the start just to settle things down should the Knicks come out in physical fashion once again.
Well, speaking to the head of officials, Darryl Garretson, who's on this game, he felt that the key thing that they will be watching for early are the defensive rotations by both teams. Both of these teams do an excellent job of trapping and rotating or pre-rotating. And are they legal or illegal? Darryl, after viewing films of their last series, felt that both these teams do a great job of getting where they're supposed to be and being legal defensively.
So we are set for Game 3 of the best-of-7 Eastern Conference semifinal series. Game 4 tomorrow night, 6:30 Eastern time here at the Garden, and we'll have it for you as part of our special NBA triple header coverage tomorrow. Patrick Ewing and Bill Cartwright on the opening tip. And Darryl Garretson from his outside position says do it again. It was not a good toss.
Both centers trying to gain an edge, get it just before the other guy gets to it, and sometimes that's where you have a quick jump and a violation.
Mark Jackson in the starting lineup once again, despite the bruised hip and 2 bruised thighs. Charles Oakley says he's all right, although he's playing with a hip problem. And as we told you on Showtime, Scottie Pippen still suffering with the sprained ankle. Jordan picked up on a double team, and he's forced into a travel.
That time, New York took Michael Jordan, sent him to the baseline, which is very dangerous because Jordan is terrific around the rim, but Ewing makes the big rotation, seals off the baseline drive, and then there's the travel.
Jackson and Wilkins at the guards. Ewing, McDaniel, and Oakley up front. Double team of Ewing right at the start. Here's Jackson. Yes. And the Knicks lead 2-0.
That time Mark Jackson didn't just catch it and look for the jumper. He caught it, put it on the floor, one dribble, got inside the defense, improved the range on the shot, and knocked out the little floater.
Jordan and Paxson in the backcourt. Pippen up front with Grant and Cartwright. Grant is stopped and fouled. Foul committed by Oakley.
Well, I wouldn't say it's even close to a flagrant foul, but I would also say that he wasn't trying to blow him a kiss on this one. He obviously sent the message here that if it's going to be a layup, you're going to have to make a tough one.
Charles Oakley, one-time Chicago Bull who was acquired in the trade for Bill Cartwright, committing the foul. And here is Horace Grant, who has not been able to get going in this series. Our shooting only 43%. Last year in the Bulls' run to the championship, he was one of the keys. He had a sensational serve.
And immediately after the free throw, Chicago goes into its full court press, trying to force turnovers. They forced 23 of them in game number 2. They want to try and make the Knicks big people bring it up the floor. And there is turnover number 1.
Yes, that a major concern of Pat Riley, who counted, as he put it, 14 unenforced turnovers. Scottie Pippen. So a good sign for the Bulls as Pippen is able to hit on his first field goal attempt. The Bulls lead it by the score 4-2. And again, the trap. Now in the past, Mike, the Bulls would turn it on and off, and they've been very successful against the Knicks. They've forced Charles Oakley to handle the ball. Wilkins to the scoop, and he's tied the game at 4.
And Chicago inbounded the ball quickly right up the sideline with Michael Jordan. They want to establish an up-tempo game at both ends of the floor.
Good look from Jordan. Grant with the recovery. Here's Cartwright hitting on the reverse. The Bulls 6 and the Knicks 4.
I think you'll see New York trying to get the ball into Mark Jackson's hands quickly after a score to try and eliminate that double team by Chicago without the basketball, so that they have to pass it to someone else to get it up court.
And Pippen looking a bit more active as he deflects it to the crowd.
Yeah, he's already up and out in a passing lane, causing that deflection.
Phil Jackson upset with his ball club. I'm told, related to them, it's all on you guys. I can do only so much from the coaching point of view. You want this one, basically, you do it by yourself. Had a three-point attempt, rebounded by McDaniel, and he's tied the game at 6.
And what Phil is trying to say there is there's only so much you can do X and O wise. If you don't come out and play with the motivation, the aggression that you need in this type of series in the playoffs, then you're going to go home early.
Wilkins has played Jordan well here in the opening minutes. Grant rejected by Ewing. Bulls able to get back. And the Knicks will reset. Ewing facing single coverage. Rebounded by Oakley. Jackson. And Jordan extends for the rebound.
It's one of the few times they've been able to rebound and get it out quickly, but then at the offensive end, the turnover. That's been one of the keys to slowing down the Chicago fast break, is that none of the rebounds seem to come easy. There's always a Knick guy hanging around, getting a hand on it, bumping a body, knocking them off balance. They felt it today. They had a rebound, clean, and then get it out quickly.
Wilkins works off the pick. Gives it back to Jackson. Yes. The Knicks 8. The Bulls 6.
When you get both guards inside the free throw line, like just happened with New York, and you have your big people on the glass, if you don't make a shot, Chicago's going to be running out at the other end, getting fast break scores.
Cartwright given the room, and he's tied the game at 8. The Bulls love to get Cartwright involved early. Here's the pressure as Grant comes back to help. Knicks this time had no trouble with it. The Bulls very successful in doubling up on Mark Jackson on Thursday night in Chicago as a steal by Pippen. And here comes Pippen. He lost the grip, but he was fouled by McDaniel.
At the offensive end of the floor, a problem that New York faced in Game 2 once again. Using up too much time on the 24-second clock before they finally get into their half-court set, and then the inability to feed the post. Patrick Ewing a number of times in Game 2, wide open. They either bypassed him, reversed the ball before he got there, or couldn't get into it because Chicago does not respect the perimeter shooting of the New York Knicks. They back off the potential perimeter guys, outside shooters, and make it tough to get the ball into Patrick Ewing. Not that they don't want to, it's just tough to get it there.
And that has been the Knick problem all season long. Lack of respect for the outside shooting game. May recall during the time leading up to the trade deadline, there was all kinds of speculation. The Knicks were looking for an outside shooter, but they did not pull off a deal, and that will be among their major needs next season.
There's no question that without Paxson, Jordan, and Pippen having the ability to knock out outside shots, they would not be the world champions.
Bulls with a 2-point lead. And Steve Javy with the foul call. It's a hold. Charge to Paxson. That's his first.
Gerald Wilkins is showing a little confidence. His level of play here up a little bit, taking it initially early to the basket, trying to make some things happen, trying to take some of the pressure off of Patrick Ewing.
Gerald Wilkins last Sunday in Game 5 against Detroit had a very poor first half, and then heard the boos from the crowd, made some obscene gestures in the direction of the Garden crowd, and then was able to turn it around and was one of the heroes in the Knick drive against the Pistons. But he has had his shooting problems, as you can see, only 36% from the field, and his foul shooting has gone down this season.
You probably want me to mention that you said the 2 free throws that he made in that game were going to turn around his problems, and I'll admit it, it did turn around for a moment.
Mike, I would never bring that up.
Oh, okay.
That's in the past. Michael Jordan, and that's his first field goal. The Bulls 12 and the Knicks 9.
You can see that New York wants to get it into Jackson's hands as quickly as they can after Chicago scores so they can get into the half-court offense. That time 17 seconds, but Jordan with the steal.
Wilkins able to foul him, and Michael Jordan going the length of the court and stuffing emphatically, but it will not count.
If the foul takes place in the backcourt, Jordan gets no free throw attempts. If the foul takes place in the front court, it's a clear path to the basket. The swipe, the steal. Now, where does the foul take place? There. In the backcourt, clearly. Good call by the official. They take it out on the side.
The Bulls with the ball and a 3-point lead. 5 minutes gone by. Shot clock down to 7. Scottie Pippen. And Jackson able to move it down. The Knicks set up. The Knicks continue to control the tempo. The Bulls have not been allowed, for the most part, to run the court. Here's Oakley. The Bulls 12, the Knicks 11.
New York with that let's hurry up and wait type attitude is how they play offense. They want to get it up quickly, but they know they must control tempo.
Michael Jordan is fouled. Beautiful move, accelerating to his right. The foul called on Oakley. A timeout has been taken. We'll be back in a moment. The Knicks' physical play throughout the series, which has been a concern for the Bulls. We asked Coach Phil Jackson, are the Knicks now more physical than Detroit?
Well, Detroit's a more physical team. I think Detroit has a ability to play a little more physical game, but what has happened is the Knicks have learned that kind of physical combat from playing the Detroit Pistons, and escalated their physical defensive attack. And right now, it's what we have to play through. You have to learn to play through that. And sometimes we're hanging on for our life out there with the ball, or under duress with physical bodies on us, and we're outweighed and outmanned at most every spot except the guard spots.
You know, I really feel badly for Phil. Outweighed, outmanned. This is a more subtle message that he's delivering this year than in the past against the Detroit Pistons type of message that they had delivered occasionally.
Are you saying coach speak is what we just heard?
Phil is doing what he should be doing, and he does an excellent job of delivering a thought every now and then to people.
What is it with Michael Jordan at the line? You recall Thursday night in Game 2, he missed 3 out of 4 from the free throw line in the closing minutes.
Normally an 83% free throw shooter during the regular season.
The Bulls 13, the Knicks 11. The Bulls continuing the pressure. Wilkins with a facial going right at Cartwright.
Now that's the style of play that Gerald Wilkins flourishes in. Open court, scramble and make something happen with your athleticism and then get to the rim. That's how he loves to play.
Jordan for 3. Michael Jordan hits from downtown and the Bulls lead 16-13.
Okay, so he's not making his free throws.
Yes. Anthony Mason has checked in. He handles the ball well, and he was able to penetrate down court and able to get in for the layup. And a foul is called. Look out. Pippen was tripped up.
Again, the Chicago defense causing the Knicks to scramble. When you're scrambling and you have their defense running around, then you want to take it to the basket, make something happen, and so what if Big Bill rotates over? When you can get up the way Wilkins can, you send it down with a lefty slam. He loves it. The Garden crowd loves it.
Bill Cartwright was called for the foul of Anthony Mason. Now Mason sets the pick. Jackson with the pick and roll goes behind the back for Mason. The Bulls by 3 with 5:15 to go in this opening quarter. They double up on Jordan, and Grant took a shove from Mason. Anthony Mason called for his first. Anthony Mason in his 3rd year out of Tennessee State, originally drafted by Portland in the 3rd round back in '88. The Knicks over the foul limit, so Grant to the line.
Speaking of Anthony Mason, that last trip down the floor, the Knicks played pick and roll 2-man basketball using Mason as the screener. When Jackson came off and threw the ball back to him, wide open, and you notice that no one from Chicago really in a hurry to rotate to him. They basically kind of watched him and said, shoot that one. We'll see if you can make a few.
The Bulls now 6 of 7 from the line. Chicago 17, the New York Knicks 13. Here's the double team on Jackson, the steal by Jordan. And Michael Jordan hits on the reverse, and the Knicks again are having big problems with the pressure of the Bulls.
And Chicago is changing up its point of attack, where they're going to double team, where they're coming after you. And New York's going to be forced into a decision here. Attack quickly, try to score, or regroup and set up after the pressure.
Patrick Ewing missing his first 2 field goal attempts. And again, we get a whistle.
A few moments ago, the double team taking place right over the half-court line. And then Mark Jackson, who's much smaller, a good strong trap. Jordan with the hand out there gets the deflection. And then just to remind those fans that think he may have forgotten how to dunk it, no, it does a little reverse for you.
Foul was called on Ewing, his first, and Scottie Pippen to the foul line. Back to the subject of the Chicago trap. The Bulls successful in trapping the ball when Mark Jackson was in the game on Thursday night. John Paxson able to shut him off, so Charles Oakley had to constantly come back for the ball, and of course he's not the player you want handling the basketball. And Pat Riley indicated that's the reason Greg Anthony saw so much time, because he's handled the pressure on the ball more effectively.
And another adjustment that some teams tried to use against Chicago during the season is to play with a smaller lineup, to have one more ball handler out there, someone else with the ability to put it on the floor, get it up court, take it to the basket.
Oh, the rejection by Pippen. It will count. It's a goaltend.
Darryl Garrison says that it was on its way down. Pippen coming from the weak side, and that's where most of your block shots come, not on your man. Is it on its way down? Yes, it is. Good call.
And we are now seeing the mobility of Scottie Pippen that we did not see the first 2 games because of the sprained ankle.
And Chip Schaefer, the trainer, receiving a small bonus for having him ready for this afternoon's game.
Here is Pippen, and the Bulls lead at 15, 8 points for Scottie Pippen. Just under 4 minutes to go in this first quarter. McDaniel, yes. The Bulls 23, the Knicks 17. John Starks, Greg Anthony getting set to check in as Michael Jordan. Makes it 4 for 4 from the floor. He has 10 points. Ewing from deep. Loose ball foul. And it's called on the Knicks. It's on Mason, his second. The Bulls to the line with the Knicks over the foul limit. Wilkins and Jackson sit down, so Starks and Anthony have checked in. John Starks got involved in a trash-talking duel with Michael Jordan on Thursday night. Starks said that he was wrong to get caught up in it with Michael Jordan because all it did was serve to fire up Jordan. In fact, Jordan says sometimes he'll do some talking just to rev himself, to get himself going.
Well, Michael Jordan is a gentleman that loves to accept challenges, and he tries to find new ways to motivate himself to reach a new height. And if he finds a younger player, a guy with less experience, and he can talk a little bit to him and get the guy into that verbal confrontation, he gets a kick out of it, because what it does is the challenge once again is there. Let me see if I can destroy this guy. It's no different from what I hear in the Bulls practices. He does the same thing to his teammates to try and push them to a new level.
Again, the Bulls come with pressure. McDaniel off the spin. Forced them to a difficult shot. Grant with the rebound. The Bulls with a 26-17 lead. Chicago has come out hitting 8 of 10 from the field. Paxson for 3. John Paxson hits from downtown. The Bulls open up a 29-17 advantage. And we are now seeing the Chicago Bulls, who went all the way last year. The Bulls who won 67 and lost 15 during the regular season. Back at the Garden, 2:46 remaining. In this first quarter, the Bulls with a 29-17 lead. Ahmad Rashad mentioned right at the start that to this point in the series, Michael Jordan has not been going to the hoop as frequently as he has in the past. And here's a breakdown. He had been looking for the jump shots over the first 2 games, but you get the idea today that he is looking more for the drive.
A couple factors in. They understand today they must draw and initiate more contact. You take what the defense can give you, and New York has come out and tried to play them soft, meaning get back off them more, make them take jumpers first. New York knows they have too many counters that can break down pressure for easy scores when you get up too hard on them.
E.J. Armstrong has checked in for the first time. One of the heroes for the Bulls Thursday night. Starks, and it's rebounded by Grant. Chicago in the midst of a 16-4 run the last 3 minutes. And this game now has... Here's Jordan with the spin. This game thus far being played more along the tempo that the Chicago Bulls like.
Here's a small little factor as far as tempo goes. Greg Anthony with the penetration, Ewing stepping out for the jumper. In the first 2 games, New York took about 73 shots per game, which means around 18 shots a quarter. Already, they have taken 20 shots in the quarter with 2 minutes remaining in quarter number 1. So Chicago has accomplished what they want. Get this tempo up, speed it up, make them take more shots, cause more ball possessions.
Into the Chicago ball with 10 on the 24. The Bulls, as you just saw, have been on fire here in the first quarter. 75% shooting. Jordan guarded by Starks. Oh, Michael Jordan again. He's hit 5 out of 6. He has 12 points.
Something that Tex Winter told us during the course of the year. We had mentioned it. You stayed away from posting Jordan up a lot this season. He said, yeah, but we know we can always go back to it in the playoffs whenever we want to.
McDaniel, he was stopped. Terrific play by Pippen from behind.
I think Pippen's ankle is feeling better.
Now Pippen being Played by Starks on a switch. Through the foul. So Scottie Pippen will go to the line as John Starks is called for his first.
Why is Chicago's defense so good? Because they are a swarming defense. They help each other out, and then tremendous athleticism. That was a clean block coming from behind over the top, where normally you get body contact, chest to back, defensive man to offensive man.
Scottie Pippen averaging 21 points per game during the regular season. Shot 76% from the foul line. Will Perdue checking in now for the first time, but as you see, Pippen shooting only 33% from the field over the first 2 games. He was 2 for 12 in game number 2 on Thursday. Bill Cartwright sitting down. Hit 2 of 2 for 4 points. The Bulls 32, the Knicks 19 as we come up on 1 minute left in the first quarter. Game 3 of the best of 7. The series tied at 1. And that is a leg block. The Knicks get the new 24.
Part of the feeling on Chicago that in both games 1 and 2, end of the first quarter, game 1, New York up 25-16. Second quarter, still close enough, down only 3, 27-24. Chicago wanted to make a statement in the first quarter to try to discourage the Knicks from feeling that, hey, we can play with these guys anytime we want.
Nice drop step move by Ewing. His second field goal. Bulls 32, the Knicks 21. Pippen using the pick, and we get an offensive foul called on Chicago. It's on Perdue.
Well, that's one of those fouls that Will Perdue, a guy coming off the bench, he's going to get that kind of whistle. An established star in this league, never going to get that call against him.
Anthony setting up McDaniel, and he threw it away. Pippen off the intercept, leads the break. Oh, Mason with a good play to get back, and he came up with the steal.
Point of emphasis with New York. Transition defense, get back early, stop their first wave.
And Starks will go to the line. The basket will not count. Perdue called for his second.
A moment ago, the screen by Perdue. Is he set? Yes. Does he deliver a forearm? No. He turns in a little bit, just a little bit of shoulder. Then, in defensive transition, coming back, trying to make sure that there's no easy scores. He doesn't commit a flagrant foul, but he gets the body and arms up enough to break the concentration of John Starks.
Now Gerald Wilkins returns, replacing Anthony Mason. John Paxson is back. Both clubs are setting up for the possibility of a desperation last-second shot. So the shooters return. Bulls lead by 10 with 18 seconds to go in the first quarter.
What Chicago likes to do here is put Pippen in the middle of the floor, spread the court, get their three-point shooters behind the line, and it's their version of a four-corner or a spread attack. Run the clock down, take your man off the dribble, penetrate, kick out, get a score.
Here's Armstrong, stopped by Starks. And that will do it. So that's the end of the first quarter. Certainly the Bulls liked the style of play, and the Bulls were on fire, led by Michael Jordan and the return of Scottie Pippen. It's the Bulls 32 and the Knicks 23 after 1 here at Madison Square Garden.
Back at Madison Square Garden, and I am joined now by the biggest, and I mean the biggest New York Knicks fan, Spike Lee. Now, Spike, I know you have been in Cannes at the film festival. You flew all night just to come back for this game.
Flew back all night. Let's see the game today, see it tomorrow, and then straight from the game tomorrow to go back to the airport to go back to the film festival.
Now, you must have mixed emotions here. You and Michael are very good friends, and you're
Knicks all the way.
Knicks all the way? We'll see about that as the game goes. Okay. Thanks, Mike. All right, back to you, Mars.
All right, Ahmad, and the Chicago Bulls hit 10 of 14 from the field in the first quarter. Michael Jordan, 5 of 6, 12 points. The Knicks 10 for 21 at 48%. And the Bulls with 32 points, accounting for their high for a quarter in in this series. Anthony was fouled by Armstrong. Phil Jackson staying with Craig Hodges and B.J. Armstrong in the backcourt. Scottie Pippen up front with Will Perdue and Scott Williams.
And now with Greg Anthony on the floor, hopefully his ability to dribble penetrate, his speed and quickness will help to break down the aggressive Bulls defense, get him to back off a little bit. Daryl Garrison spots the illegal defense by Chicago. A little bit too much help that time.
No argument from the Chicago coaching staff. That is the first such violation by the Bulls. Marv Albert with Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad for Madison Square Garden. Opening minutes, second quarter. Here's Ewing putting the move on Perdue, and he was fouled. Patrick Ewing will go to the line. Scott Williams, trying to help out, was called for the foul. Patrick Ewing with the magnificent performance in Game 1 last Tuesday in Chicago. The Knicks coming up with that surprising win over the Bulls.
A moment ago, Patrick Ewing calling for the basketball, right hand extended, Greg Anthony with the ball. Now you got to get it to him, but you got to feed him so he can catch it, not where it bounces off his hands and goes out of bounds. Feeding the post.
And Ewing missing on both free throws. The Bulls lead at 32-23. Hodges with the open shot. That's two-point range. And the rebound gathered in by Ewing. Scott Williams in a battle down low with Xavier McDaniel and successfully fronting McDaniel. Here's Starks to the reverse. The Bulls 32 and the Knicks 25. Nice fake by Perdue, and he drew the foul.
The fans wanted the offensive foul call on Will Perdue with the free arm after he gave Patrick Ewing the little ball fake to get Ewing up in the air. Little drive down the lane and a free arm clear out, but no, he gets the call this time in his favor.
Will Perdue has emerged as a cult figure in Chicago. There is now a Will Perdue 1-900 number. And we'll play a little sampling of that a little bit later on. Will Perdue during the course of the regular season was very effective against the Knicks as the Bulls took 4 out of 4 against the Knicks during the season. And they had that streak of 17 straight wins against the Knicks overall. That was stopped by the Knicks victory in Chicago in game number 1. Starks. The tip missed by Ewing, but Wilkins able to recapture. Passing on the jump shot.
Will Wilkins had a 16-footer that time, wide open, nobody in front of him, and instead continued to dribble and did not take the jumper. You got to knock down a few of them.
Illegal defense called for the second time on the Bulls. Phil Jackson taking a walk along the sideline. So now the Knicks in the technical foul situation.
You want to know where the illegal defense is? 1, 2 defensive players against one offensive guy. The other man is way out here somewhere. You can't do that. You have to play a man, not space on the floor. There's the illegal defense.
Stacey King, who missed the first 2 games of the series because of a bout with the flu, has checked in. Will Perdue sitting down. The Knicks are now 3 of 7 from the foul line. They have struggled at the line throughout the season. They picked it up in the playoffs. King with the steal. Rather, Williams with a steal. What a play. But he could not control. He felt that he was fouled. But he's called for stepping out of bounds.
That was some play by a big man to step out there, discourage the dribble, and then get a hand in and come up with almost the steal before going out of bounds.
And he thought he was pushed.
Well, if he got pushed, then he pushed Greg Anthony a little bit before that, so you just let him go. No call.
Oh, beautiful pass from Anthony. Oakley with his second bucket. So the Knicks now trail by 7. 2 minutes gone by in the second quarter.
Anytime Michael Jordan sits out, normally Pippen's on the floor. If Pippen's out, Jordan's on the floor. In game one, because of foul problems, both players had to be out of the game. As a result, the Knicks took control.
Anthony with the jumper off the move. Nice spin by Anthony, and he drew the foul. Timeout being called by the Knicks. B.J. Armstrong called for the foul. The crowd responding to this Knicks comeback drive. You've heard of the Jose Canseco 900 number. There are various 900 numbers available for all sorts of services. And in Chicago, backup center Will Perdue has his own 900 number, with Will dispensing valuable information. Here's a listen.
Hi, Will back with Friday's hotline. Benjamin Roy Armstrong, our smallest guy, came up very big in an obviously big game. It looks like the refs are going to force us to play that physical game. So we shall. Detroit all over again. Even without a top-shelf Jordan in the second half, we withstood their best blows.
Very nice. I like his staccato Walter Winchell style. That was a sampling, certainly a worthwhile phone investment.
Perhaps Will, anticipating that his future lies ahead in coaching, sending him messages, a physical style of play like Detroit.
Greg Anthony cuts it to a 34-28 Chicago lead. Michael Jordan getting the rest. And again, the Knicks display. Now Jordan is back in. He's able to haul the rebound down. Knicks continue to have their troubles at the line. And Jordan right off the bench to connect for the jumper. Michael Jordan has hit 6 of 7. He has 14 points. The Bulls 36, the Knicks 28.
Well, there are reasons why, okay, Chicago has 36 points up there. One, the number of field goal attempts that they try and get up on the glass. Now, it is low today. Only 17 thus far in the game, but they have 16 free throws already in this basketball game.
Scott Williams did a terrific job in defending against Xavier McDaniel. That's a three. Greg Hodges from downtown extending to a 39-28 lead. The layup game warning has been called on the Bulls.
Craig Hodges is a specialist. What Phil Jackson does is he brings him in a basketball game for X number of minutes. He lets him get set up behind the three-point line. If somebody can dribble, penetrate, kick out to him, and get him off early, he stays on the floor. If he gets no shots, no productivity, then he sits back down on the bench and someone else goes in and plays those minutes.
Another Knick turnover. The Bulls 3 of 3 from downtown. And Jordan called for the shuffle. Second traveling violation on Michael Jordan. Knicks did an effective job in doubling up.
How many times do we see 2 travel violations against Michael Jordan in the same game? Not too often.
Now Stacey King sits down. Bill Cartwright is back. Patrick Ewing back on the floor up front, along with Oakley, and a 3-guard alignment being utilized by Pat Riley. Anthony for 3. Yes! Greg Anthony, who at one stretch during the regular season was 1 for 24 from downtown, 8 for 55 overall. During the playoffs, starting with the series against Detroit, has become a 3-point shooting threat. Jordan working hard, and it's tipped home by Cartwright. Knicks were looking for offensive interference, but the basket counts. The Bulls by 10, 7:40 to go in the first half. Anthony, bad shot.
Now, that's one of the problems. When Anthony makes a big basket and gets emotionally involved, he gets a little bit carried away sometimes and kind of feels that this is the Greg Anthony show when it's not really. Here, the crowd concerned that this might be an offensive goaltending call. Was it in the cylinder? No, it was not. It was off to the side. Good call by making no call at all. If it's straight up and down in the cylinder, goaltending there, well, you could have a little bit of concern there. From that angle, not quite off as far as it looked the first time.
Foul was called on Cartwright. Here's John Paxson back, replacing B.J. Armstrong, who did not score. Again, the double advantage of Ewing, finding Oakley. Patrick Ewing has developed into a very good passer. And he and Oakley have a rapport that has emerged during the course of the season.
Just a great example, Marv, of why people continue to work with these great players to develop other areas. Just like Greg Anthony's become a better shooter, he comes out and works at it before each game. He's got hopefully a long career in the NBA to improve. Ewing knew that he had to become a better passer and read defenses.
Oh, Michael Jordan made the play, able to deflect it over to Grant. And the Bulls lead 43-33. Ewing foul by Jordan. The Knicks calling for time with 6:42 remaining in the first half. The setup for Ewing, and he's hammered from behind by Jordan. We'll be back after these words. The series, the Knicks have had a turnover problem, in particular back in Game 2 when they turned it over on 23 occasions. We talked about this with Knicks coach Pat Riley.
We looked at that yesterday, and the problem with the 23 turnovers was not the pressure. 14 of them were unforced. And their pressure created maybe 4 or 5 turnovers, but we had 14 unforced turnovers in just other situations where there wasn't any pressure. We can't do that. We got to keep our turnovers to 10, 12 assists plus 20. When we have 23 turnovers and 20 assists, we're not going to beat anybody. We won't beat the Sisters of Mercy, nor will we beat your former Atlanta Hawk team with its dinky 1-2-2 trapping defense full court. Gotcha.
Dinky 1-2-2 trapping defense. Will that dinky 1-2-2 trapping defense perhaps resurface next year in Sacramento or New Jersey, or will it be Houston or Denver or Milwaukee or the Italian League?
The man is obviously tired. He's got things backwards, upside down. It was a 2-2-1, not a 1-2-2. That's the problem.
I see. America's coaching candidate, the Czar. The Bulls with a 43-35 lead. Nice deflection. Kiki Vandeweghe has come on for the first time. Jordan had it slapped away. The save by Anthony. 6:25 remaining. First half. Bulls lead by 8 points. Vandeweghe working off the screen. Ewing. 8 points for Ewing. And the Knicks now trail by 6. Chicago is led by as many as 13. Here is Pippen. Scottie Pippen very much back on target. 11 points for Pippen. He's hit 3 out of 4 from the field. 5 of 6 from the line. Bulls 45, the Knicks 37. Oakley open for an instant. Anthony using the pick. Wilkins wide open. They gave him the shot. They're saying, hey, shoot it.
You can see when Kiki took the first shot, the crowd was praying that Kiki would knock one down. They understand that someone must step forward and make some perimeter shots to help the Knicks cause out and open things up inside for Patrick Ewing.
At this point, no respect, though, for the outside touch of Gerald Wilkins. Jordan under pressure. Oakley and Anthony in his face.
Just watch the number of times that the Chicago Bulls wind up with either Paxson, Jordan, or Pippen having to take a 17, 18, 20-footer, and they knock it down. That's the big difference.
Jordan has 16. Wilkins, this time way off. Paxson was hit to the floor by Oakley, who was shaken up and not pleased about it. Now John Paxson in a conversation with Darryl Garrison. He thought he was fouled. Pippen is fouled. Ewing called for his second.
The two power forwards down low inside. Grant, Oakley, All 48 minutes, there's body contact. Nothing comes easy on the glass. It's a struggle. That's why Chicago's had a problem getting the ball out. At the other end of the floor, Pippen feeling a little bit better, a little more comfortable with that ankle, taking it to the basket, drawing the contact.
Pippen is a solid foul shooter. He's now 5 for 7 for the day. Mark Jackson is back, replacing Greg Anthony, who's played well. Greg Anthony, the #1 draft pick, a rookie from Nevada, Las Vegas. Shot only 37% from the field during the regular season, and there was a point toward the end of the season where he was not looking for the shot. But in the playoffs, he's turned it around offensively, although at times he will take some poor shots, as we saw just moments ago, after hitting from long range.
I was hopefully giving the ball back in the backcourt. I said, wait a minute, this isn't my job. You take it back, Joe, and get it up the floor. Little give-and-go action in the backcourt.
Yes, he had some trouble handling the ball on Thursday night. Hopefully. Garrison calls a jump ball.
Because Chicago is so active, you just never get a clean look at the basket. They seem to have the great ability to recover defensively, get a hand in your face or a challenge. If not your man, somebody else. That time from the other side of the floor, Pippen came over to get a piece of that and stop what looked like to be a sure layup for New York.
The Bulls shooting 67% from the field. They've hit 16 of 24, and the Knicks at 16 of 34 for 47%. Chicago controls the tip, and here comes Jordan. And he's moving stuff. Well, mark it down. It's about 2 minutes past 2 Eastern time, and Michael Jordan has done the unthinkable. Oakley from Vandeweghe, and he's fouled.
The jump ball taking place. Michael Jordan was ready to bust out from the time that went up. It was just a matter of Patrick Ewing tried to cut off the top of the circle. The ball went to Pippen to his right. Jordan was gone.
Horace Grant called for the foul to demonstrate the artistry and perfection and greatness of Michael Jordan. That missed stuff will undoubtedly be played on every highlight show across America this evening. And the crowd certainly has gotten a kick out of it.
Before the game is over, I have a feeling that he will have another opportunity to show that he can do it.
The Bulls 48 and the Knicks 40. 3:40 remaining, first half. Oakley comes out to help. Here's Jordan. He tried to draw the foul. Phil Jackson in a rage, looking for the call. Here's Mark Jackson. Yes. So the Chicago lead, once 13, is now 6. And Phil Jackson wants to talk it over.
You said it. It's going to replay it over and over again. Michael Jordan doing the unthinkable.
Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, folks, we'll preview Game 2 of our doubleheader between the Blazers and the Suns, and we'll look back at the Blazers' only championship team the 1977 club, coached by Jack Ramsey and featuring, of course, Bill Walton. Then we'll get Quinn Buckner's analysis of the first half between the Bulls and the Knicks. Quinn is wrong about as often as Michael Jordan misses a dunk, so you'll want to be with us at halftime. Right now, let's head back to the Garden and rejoin Marv Albert and Mike Fratello.
All right, Bob, this crowd standing and cheering as the Knicks have cut into that lead. It's now a 6-point margin. One more look at the breakaway stuff missed by Michael Jordan. Some sardonic New York humor.
Mark, at halftime of game 1 and 2, total combined score, 84 points in game 1, 83 points in game 2. Already here in game 3 with 3 minutes remaining, a total of 90 points scored by both teams. So the tempo definitely is up in Chicago's favor.
Yes, and it counts. A gorgeous spin move by Jordan, and he was fouled by Wilkins.
Well, Gerald Wilkins mentioned to us yesterday that he's probably the one who has the best chance of stopping Jordan as far as the guards are concerned from New York down low because of size and the fact that Jordan respects him a little bit more perhaps than the other guys. But when Michael Jordan gets down low, I don't care who's playing him, he's almost impossible one-on-one to stop.
19 for Jordan. The Bulls 51, the Knicks 42 with just under 3 minutes to go in this first half. Wilkins calling out a play. Whit Livingston has come on for the first time. He's guarding Xavier McDaniel. Shot clock at 3. Ewing had to force the air ball. Oakley is there to convert. Charles Oakley very active offensively. In this first half, he is 4 out of 5 for the field. He has 9 points.
That is a giant basket that time by Charles Oakley because this Chicago team plays in spurts. You hang around, you're 6 or 8 down. Suddenly, they run off a 12-2 run, and the game could be over. That basket right there could have stopped a potential Bulls run.
Two minutes remaining in the first half. Good look from Jackson, but Oakley, after blowing the layup, was able to tip it home.
That time, Chicago paid so much attention to Ewing, who was setting the screen and rolling left. They had 3 defensive players across the floor. Oakley found the seam, went right to the basket. Nice decision by Mark Jackson.
Shot clock now to 5. Pippen. Jackson off the board. Knicks hoping to close strong. There's Ewing. Oh, very. It looked to be a friendly rim. Just to keep it alive. Jackson was able to call for time. A smart play. The Bulls about to tie him up.
A few moments ago, Charles Oakley, with the shot clock running down and Ewing shooting an air ball, comes up with a big, big basket for New York to stop the run by the Bulls. And then, on the pick and roll, Oakley finds the seam. Jackson makes the decision. Although he misses it, he stays with it and comes up with the 2 points, which the Knicks really need at this time.
Right here, let's go over to Ahmad Rashad with New York Knicks president Dave Checketts. Ahmad?
All right, Marv. I'm here with Dave Checketts. Now, Dave, you brought in a winning coach. You put a winning team out there. And one of the things you were concerned with was turning this crowd on. They seem to be turned on today.
Well, New York loves a winner, Ahmad. And I think the missed dunk by Michael got him something to be pumped up about. And so once these guys get into the game, they really pump up the team. And who knows, we're just crazy enough to believe we can beat these guys.
Well, in talking about this team, you must be awful proud of this situation you put together.
Well, we really consider this a rebuilding year. We thought if we could get into the playoffs and maybe make some noise, just be competitive, just shake some teams up, that this summer we could add a couple of significant players. But once we got past the Pistons and into the second round, we said, hey, we're here. Why not do something about it? And the team's been great. They play hard every night. The attitude's terrific. There's been a lack of controversy that you've seen in other years. And who knows? We believe we can do more than just shake things up.
All right, great job, Dave, and good luck to your team the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
All right, Marv.
Thank you, Ahmad. A reminder, tomorrow here on NBC, an unprecedented NBA playoff triple feature. 6:30 tomorrow night will be capped off by game number 4 between the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks. That's 6:30 Eastern time. First, a special early start at 12 noon Eastern. The Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Boston Celtics. Game 4 of their Eastern Conference semifinals. Celtics pulling one out last night against the Cavs, and then Karl Malone leads the Jazz against Sean Kemp and the Seattle Supersonics. And then later, as the finale of the special triple header, 6:30 Eastern time, 3:30 Pacific. Game 4 between the Bulls and the Knicks. Coverage beginning tomorrow at the special time of 12 noon Eastern with NBA Showtime. Nice save by Ewing. Here is Wilkins. Yes!
Tomorrow in that 12:30 early start game there in Boston, Chuck Daly making his debut. A little upset about that, Mark. First Magic, then Salman with the telestrator at halftime. Now Chuck Daly a little concerned.
I can understand your insecurity. 45 seconds remaining in the first half. Here's Cartwright. And it will be Nick Ball. So the Knicks have cut into the Chicago lead that once was 13 and is down to 3. Stacey King returns, replacing Bill Cartwright.
And you must always keep in mind that the Knicks' philosophy is the wear and tear of the game in the fourth quarter will take its toll on the opposition. You stay close enough, give yourself a chance to win, wear them down in the fourth quarter. Maybe they'll have turnovers, maybe they'll miss free throws, maybe they'll miss shots.
Wilkins. Oh, a quick step to the left by Gerald Wilkins. He has exploded an 8-0 Knick run. And the Knicks move within 1. 11 points for Wilkins. The Bulls take a 20-second timeout.
Sees the seam again for the second time, going left, finding just enough room to get to the front, and then he's such an explosive player, plays on emotion. This type of play is best for him. He has had to sacrifice during the course of the season and play a style which is best for the team to win, but personally his statistics have gone down because it's not the best style for Gerald Wilkins.
One of the key factors for the good play by the Knicks during the course of the playoffs has been their work off the boards. They've been a strong rebounding team most of the season, but look at this breakdown.
Well, it's a point of emphasis that Pat Riley has established from training camp. They led the NBA in total rebound percentage, coming up with 71% of the rebounds, and there's the rebounds today. Again, a decided advantage for New York.
15 seconds remaining first half. The Bulls 51 and the Knicks 50. Pippen will throw in. Now Jordan played by McDaniel.
All they've done now is flip-flop, and Jordan's in the middle. Pippen's on the wing. Michael must create and make something happen as the clock runs down.
And he gives the foul. They had one foul to give.
Now Chicago will take the ball out on the side. Phil Jackson, probably realizing they had a foul to give, called 2 plays in the last timeout. First one anticipating the foul. Second one, this is what we really want to get to. If you can get dribble penetration and find Paxson in the corner for a 3 or Pippen for a 3, that's what they want.
Final seconds. Here is Pippen. Very aggressive celebration move by McDaniel with Wilkins. But the Knicks feeling good about themselves. They cut that 13-point lead down to 1. An 8-0 run at the end of the half. Chicago missing their last 4 field goal attempts. The Bulls by 1 in Game 3 of this best of 7 as we head to our Prudential halftime report with Bob Costas. with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, and Ahmad Rashad. The Chicago Bulls, led by as many as 13. They lead by only 1 as we get set for the start of the third quarter. A superb first half for Michael Jordan. 8 for 12, 19 points. Charles Oakley and Gerald Wilkins leading the Knicks with 11. Patrick Ewing with only 8 points, 3 for 9 in the first half. The Bulls, though, can recall the slow start in Game 1 on Tuesday when Patrick Ewing was able to turn it around in the second half and finished with 34 points, 16 rebounds. They double up on Wilkins. Jackson given the open shot. So the Knicks have taken the lead for the first time since early in the game when they had an 8-6 advantage.
And that's one of those situations where coaches say to teams, you just have to understand how to play. There's no time after beating the pressure to get set up into a half-court set and run it. So you play smart basketball, good ball movement, and produce a turnover by New York. Going back the other way to the offensive end for the Knicks.
A 10-0 run by the Knicks. They scored the last 8 points of the second quarter.
Are there any indicators at halftime why this game should be so close as Patrick Ewing knocks down a baseline jumper? Certainly. All the extra effort categories are just about even.
And the Bulls take a 20-second timeout.
New York loves to play two-man basketball, and Jackson loves to deliver the behind-the-back pass to Patrick Ewing, who, when Ewing steps out as deep as he did this time, it's tough for the next Bull, Scottie Pippen, to get there in time on the rotation to challenge the jump shot. I was talking about the extra effort categories. New York did it their way, offensive rebounds in the first half, 12-2. Chicago did it their way, 6-2 in steals. And then the other two categories, forced turnovers, 7-7, blocked shots, 2-2.
Opening minute, third quarter. And the Knicks lead 54-51 with 12 unanswered points. Chicago with John Paxson and Michael Jordan in the backcourt. Scottie Pippen, Bill Cartwright, Horace Grant up front. Can of defense from this capacity crowd. Pippen kept alive by Grant. Pippen played by McDaniel. Wilkins and Jordan in a very physical sequence. Jordan off the fake, knocked away by Wilkins, right off the recovery. And it will be a loose ball foul. It's on Wilkins, his third.
Gerald Wilkins had done a good job initially getting Jordan almost out to the sideline before he could catch the ball. Then by the time he backs him down here, makes a couple different fakes, a little deflection, he's got to kick it out to Cartwright.
Here's Jordan. Fouled by Oakley. Chicago only 1 for its last 9 from the floor. That's 3 on Oakley. So 3 apiece on Oakley and Wilkins. The Bulls do not have anyone in foul difficulty.
And Patrick Ewing just grabbed 2 of his teammates, pulled them into a little mini huddle that time, and basically delivered a little bit of a message there about breaking down defensively and not helping each other.
And Michael Jordan's free throw shooting continues to be puzzling. He has hit only 2 of 4 this afternoon. He missed 3 of 4 in the final minutes on Thursday. The Knicks 54 and the Bulls 52. Now light pressure by Chicago.
I think Phil Jackson has to be careful how much he extends this defense and puts pressure on here in the third quarter, looking ahead down the road to have energy left.
Oh, Horace Grant came up big with the rejection. Here's Scottie Pippen going all the way. It will not count. Offensive foul.
As Pippen elevates and goes to the basket, you can believe that he's anticipating the fact that there might be some contact from the side, but failed to realize that Ewing was going to be able to get over there, rotate in time, and get good position along the baseline.
Jackson using the pick. Ewing played by Grant. Shot clock at 4. Jackson able to get to it. And a loose ball foul called on Bill Cartwright.
Well, when Charles Oakley goes up for the rebound, he's got his arms flailing, his hands out, and then it's just a matter of who's the official going to call it on. They're locked there even. Cartwright, Oakley, both trying to get that inside position. And then when Oak may feel that he's on his way down at the end, he just starts flailing. Little shove there by Cartwright. Good call by the official. Even at first, no advantage, but when the advantage took place, then the whistle went off.
Ewing trying to get to that lead pass, overthrown by Jackson. Crowd reacts. They wanted a foul on Cartwright. Here's Pippen dumping off, nicely done, and Grant has tied the game at 54.
Anytime you extend your defense against Chicago, because they have so many skilled players and the athleticism, they have the ability to attack and score, and that's what they did.
3 minutes in, third quarter. Game 3 of the best of 7. Series tied at 1. Beautiful defensive play by Jordan. Jordan and Paxson closing the baseline on Jackson. Pippen goes to the left and then had to give it up. Daniel doing a very effective job against Pippen, but an illegal defense has been called on Xavier McDaniel, and Scottie Pippen talking it up pretty good, and the official Bob Delaney had to come over to separate the two.
And Xavier mentioned to us yesterday, I can play Scottie Pippen if it's just in the half-court area much better than I can when he's out running in transition. Then it becomes impossible to guard him and keep his numbers down. But if we can slow it up and let them play half-court basketball, I feel I can do a decent job against them.
Yes, during the regular season, it was all Scottie Pippen in the matchup with Xavier McDaniel. The Knicks and the Bulls tied at 54. We are early third quarter. Ewing rebounded by Grant. So Patrick Ewing has not been able to get going. 4 of 11 from the field. He has 10 points. Jordan with the hesitation. He tried to hang, looking for the better shot. Pippen and McDaniel going down. And the foul called on Pippen. That's his second.
Well, just after Michael Jordan had got done splitting the double team, as they tried to play a little two-man game, he had to cock the shot, bring it back down again, and then in the scramble right there for the basketball, the foul called.
Xavier McDaniel has come out particularly aggressive here in the third quarter. He and Pippen have an exchanging bars.
In the New York series, X-Man averaged 9 rebounds a game. It's really dropped off against Chicago. He had only 2 at halftime, so perhaps Pat had to send a little message to the X-Man.
Cartwright was just called for his 4th and did not like it.
Well, it's the high elbow forearm in the throat of Charles Oakley that's called. The officials are trying to clean this thing up in the beginning of the second half so it doesn't get out of control.
And Will Perdue has come on, replacing Bill Cartwright. Off the weave. Knicks try to set up Perdue. Call for the foul. The Knicks feel a little bit better about seeing Patrick Ewing defended by Perdue as opposed to Cartwright.
Well, the position down low established by Ewing, and now Perdue trying to get around because he knows he's caught. He knows he's in trouble. The only thing he can do is hope to get the arms above Ewing's arms and then throw him and move around baseline side that time. An obvious call.
Over the years, Bill Cartwright, since coming over to Chicago from the Knicks, has been very effective against Patrick Ewing. Game tied at 54. Ewing Bulls. It's a 3-on-1. Paxson. It's an offensive foul.
In transition, Scottie Pippen was running the right lane. He gave Paxson a little signal with his index finger, like, throw it up in the air. The lob is there. There's only one defensive man back. But Paxson felt he could get there before Jackson could. Unfortunately, he gets wrong. Pippen's on the right. He just wants the ball in the air so he can go get it. Purdue trailing in the middle lane.
Because of an open wound, John Maxey will have to be removed for one whistle.
If there is an open wound, an open cut, the new rule this year in the NBA, the game must be stopped by the officials. That player taken out of the game until the trainer can work on it, close it up, stop the bleeding, and then cover it before he may come back onto the floor. Perhaps Paxson with the cut on the back of the arm there.
So Paxson is replaced by B.J. Armstrong.
Chip Schaefer, the trainer, working on John's arm. He'll cover that open wound then, and then he'll be able to play again. If Scottie Pippen is bleeding also, that'll be a second guy coming out of the game for Chicago.
And Darryl Garrettson impatient. He wants the ball in play.
And he wants Phil Jackson to put a substitute in. Never mind stopping the bleeding with a towel. He wants a sub in so play can continue.
He will be replaced by
Cliff Livingston replacing Scottie Pippen. Well, the Bulls certainly have expected the physical play by the Knicks to continue, but now cuts being dealt out. I see Scottie Pippen has a Band-Aid on his chin, and he's over at the scorer's table. He will report back in. The next dead ball. Wilkins for McDaniel. Shot clock at 8. Oh, yes. The Knicks lead 56-54.
Eventually, the bodies, the size, the strength. Keep in mind that when Detroit ended the series, as they walked out, they said this is a big, physical, wide New York team that plays you tough, and it takes its toll on you.
Livingston, who is a quick leaper, able to convert on the putback. So Cliff Livingston off the bench to hit his first field goal. The Knicks take a timeout. The basket counts, and a foul has been called.
Livingston doing what he does best, keeping the ball alive on the glass, giving them second shot opportunities. Livingston, after the first 2 games, a total of only 4 minutes on the floor.
Much talk about the physical style of play of the New York Knicks, and one of the reasons for it starts in the weight room. Now, it wasn't long ago that basketball players wouldn't think twice about going in a weight room, but that has changed. If you look at the body fat here of these 4 Knicks players at the start of the season, they had a lot of body fat. They've reduced it, and they've been able to lose weight and gain strength. That's all due to the help of the strength coach, Greg Brittingham, and in order to be physical like the Knicks are, you got to have physical specimens like these 4 players here, and they are being physical today. Marv?
Yes, the physical play of the New York Knicks has gone on right throughout the season, but since the playoffs began, it has been in the spotlight, beginning with the series against Detroit, and now on to Chicago. There's Scottie Pippen, who was forced to leave a moment ago, and now has the Band-Aid on the chin.
It's a small point. Not all teams have a strength and conditioning coach. Not all teams have charter, private planes to use. Every team trying to gain an advantage on their opponents.
Yes, the Knicks players give much credit to the strength coach, Greg Brittingham, for bringing him along to this point. Here's Ewing with a fadeaway. And Patrick Ewing is now 4 for 13. Nice pass from Jordan. Grant on the rebound. And Oakley able to haul it down. 7 rebounds for Charles Oakley. The Bulls lead 57-56. 5:40 remaining in the third. And now this has become a very intense, grueling style of play. The Knicks have gotten to their style, similar to what happened against Detroit. Patrick Ewing providing the Knicks with a 1-point lead.
New York's tempo, New York's style. This is the type of game they want to get Chicago into. This is the way they feel they have a legitimate chance to win this series.
Paxson with the step. Purdue on the follow. Rare to see John Paxson do it off the dribble, but Will Purdue was right there to convert.
See, as long as Mark Jackson's on the floor, Chicago can leave Paxson on the floor because they feel that Paxson can guard him off the dribble and keep him in front of him. They got Greg Anthony.
Will Purdue with a good box out. So Purdue, who came on for Cartwright, has done a nice job. Cartwright sitting down after collecting his 4th foul. Livingston up front with Grant and Purdue. Paxson and Jordan in the backcourt. Here's Livingston. Shot clock at 5. Purdue being guarded by Oakley. Wild shot by Purdue.
Will showing us that he can change hands. Not quite as effective as some of the other guys, though.
Jackson open off the double team on Wilkins. He tried to deliver to Oakley, and the ball goes back to Chicago. Now Scottie Pippen returns, replacing Cliff Livingston.
Mark Jackson has to take that little 10-footer once he gets in the lane. He did a great job of breaking down the Chicago defense. Now there he is in front of the rim. Make that shot, make them eventually step up to stop him, then he can drop it off.
The Bulls at 1 point hit only 2 of 13 from the field. They hit a cold spell, a 17-8 run by the Knicks, propelling New York to the lead, but now Chicago leads by 3 as Michael Jordan is able to hit on the slam for 22 points. Jordan is 9 for 15 from the floor. Wilkins cut off by Jordan. Jackson from deep. Bulls try to run, but the Knicks able to get back. And Paxson's pass off the mark, so it will be Nick Ball.
Little give-and-go basketball. Pass, cut without it, and if your teammates are unselfish, they'll give it back to you, to the best finisher in the game.
John Starks and Greg Anthony have replaced Mark Jackson and Gerald Wilkins. Scott Williams getting set to check in for the Bulls. Anthony played by Paxson. Anthony Mason has also come on. So Patrick Ewing sitting down. Charles Oakley moves over to the center position. Starks for 3. Yes. The game is tied at 61. John Starks off the bench to hit from downtown. A foul has been called on the Knicks as a timeout is taken.
The double team by the Knicks, but spots his open teammate Grant in the lane, so now all he has to do is deliver the basketball. Jordan, the great vision, delivers. The problem for the Knicks, you do not want to turn your head and not see Jordan, because he's one of the best in the business at moving without it, getting it back, and then wanting to add to his total of 0 coming into this game as far as dunks go. Today, he's 2 out of 3, only missing the breakaway.
And has obviously been looking for the drive. That's not the case over the first 2 games. Here is Scottie Pippen to the free throw line. The game is tied at 61 off the 3-pointer by John Starks, who had been 0 for 9 from downtown prior to hitting that 3-point bomb a moment ago. Scottie Pippen with 13 points. He had 9 in the first quarter, only 4 since then. But looking more active, showing his mobility despite the sprained ankle. Knicks having difficulty on the inbounds. Here's Mason popping it down. McDaniel gives it right back. Anthony spotting Oakley. He thought he was fouled. Mason with the rebound gets it out. Starks for three. Rebounded by Pippen. 2:20 remaining in the third. Bulls with the ball and a 2-point lead. And now McDaniel switching off on Jordan. Michael trying to shake off the X-Man, and he drew the foul. That's 3 on McDaniel.
Marv, you mentioned how Pippen's productivity has gone down as the game has progressed. At the end of game 2, with about 4-5 minutes remaining during a timeout, that's when he told Chip Schaefer, the trainer, that it was beginning to tighten up. He was having a real problem with it after playing about 42 minutes on the bad ankle. So perhaps again it's starting to tighten up as the game goes on.
Michael Jordan now 4 of 6 from the free throw line. He has 23 points. The Bulls 65 and the Knicks 61. Again, pressure on the inbound. Chicago turning it back on.
The extended, the token pressure, not the frantic pressure that the Bulls can produce when they want to.
Shot clock at 2. Anthony. Rebounded by Pippen. The Knicks have managed to hang in despite the fact they have not received the productivity out of Patrick Ewing. Only 5 for 14, 12 points. Jordan with the spin. Oh, what a move by Michael Jordan. The Bulls now lead 67-61.
So what happens in a situation like this, you send Michael Jordan down low, you put the ball in Scottie Pippen's hand, who acts like a point guard out in front, who directs the traffic and then makes the feed pass.
Here's where Greg Anthony has been so effective against the double team in the backcourt. He's been able to handle the ball. Now Pippen jumps out and is called for the foul.
During the course of the regular season, Scottie Pippen led this team in assists with 572, and when he can find Michael Jordan down low, there aren't many two guards that can stop Michael in that painted area.
Greg Anthony, a very confident young man for a first-year player. He was just screaming in the face first of Pippen and then Jordan. Now earlier in the season he got involved with Michael Jordan. Jordan did not care for the manner in which he was fouled by Anthony, and they went at each other.
Well, sometimes when you win a national championship at the collegiate level and you come in with a lot of confidence, you're oblivious to everything that's going on around you. Yesterday, as we sat and talked with him, he was telling us about this young, relatively inexperienced Chicago Bulls team that they were going up against.
Relatively inexperienced. Now Starks guarding Jordan. McDaniel over to help. Paxson. Oh, how often we've seen that. The double team on Jordan. He's able to get it out to Paxson, and Paxson buries the jump shot. So the Bulls have settled down and now lead 69-62, an 8-1 run by Chicago. Patrick Ewing back on the floor. Ewing from way out. Bulls lead by 5.
And that was not an easy one. Chicago did not concede that jumper. They went out, tried to get out to him quickly and discourage his face-up, take a look at the basket, but Ewing got it off.
He was hitting the face-up jump shots in the second half on Tuesday night, and that is what propelled the Knicks to the victory. Jordan, Bulls 71, and the Knicks 64. Michael Jordan with 29. He scored 10 points here in the third. 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. Starks, who was looking for 3, changed his mind. Jordan from half court. 6-3 here at Madison Square Garden. The Chicago Bulls, sparked by Michael Jordan, lead the New York Knicks by the score of 71-64. We'll be back after these words from your local station. $19,763 at Madison Square Garden. Capacity crowd on hand as we head to the fourth. The Bulls lead 71-64, and Patrick Ewing has been held in check, not getting good shots. As a result, 6 of 15, only 14 points. If you're Pat Riley, how do you free up Ewing? What do you do here?
Well, it's not all that easy, because we're talking about a Chicago team that has dismantled a lot of individual players and offenses over the last couple seasons. You continue to work hard. You try to get the ball to him in his key areas, and then he's got to be a good decision maker. When to shoot, when to pass. B.J. Armstrong back on the floor, replacing John Paxson. B.J., one of the Bulls standouts on Thursday. Pippen able to hit. Scottie Pippen with 16, and the Bulls lead 73-64. Jackson and Starks at the guards. Ewing, Mason, and McDaniel up front. Bulls at one point of the first half led by as many as 13. The Knicks were able to come from behind. They had a lead briefly. Patrick Ewing once again doing it with jump shots. He now has 16 points. The Bulls 73 and the Knicks 66. Purdue lost it. Gerald Wilkins makes his return. Game number 4 of this best of 7 will take place here at Madison Square Garden in New York tomorrow night, and we'll be on hand starting 6:30 Eastern Time as the finale of an unprecedented NBA playoff triple feature here on NBC. It gets underway starting at 12 noon with Showtime. Patrick Ewing has been forced outside, but he has hit his last 3. Well, when he sets the screen, he's stepping back rather than rolling, because they understand Chicago recovers so quickly and rotates so well. There's no room in the lane for him to roll to the basket.
Armstrong unable to get going. Purdue. Oh, key bucket by Will Purdue, handling the rebound. That's his second field goal. He has 6 points in all. The Bulls 75, the Knicks 68. 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Wilkins and Pippen to the boards. Armstrong and Jordan in the backcourt. Purdue is up front with Pippen and Williams. Jordan feeling around for Starks. Pippen off the pick. And again it's Purdue. That's his 7th rebound. Pippen wide open. Scottie Pippen hits from downtown. The Bulls lead by 10.
What you just saw there was Michael Jordan playing the same role as Magic Johnson did a year ago for the Lakers by dribbling down into the post and then drawing a double team and kicking out to the open people. He directed the offense from the low post area.
Anthony Mason and Scott Williams in a pushing match as we head to commercial.
Genuine memories.
Today's Miller Genuine Draft Genuine Memory takes us back to January 1990. The Knicks and Bulls tied at 106. 1/10 of a second left, and Trent Tucker hit the game-winning shot. A shot that led to the 3/10 of a second rule. It was determined that it is impossible to catch the ball and shoot it in less than 3/10 of a second. That also the last time that the Knicks beat the Bulls here at the Garden. And there is Trent on hand as part of the sellout crowd. Trent Tucker, now a member of the San Antonio Spurs. He was traded to Phoenix along with Gerard Mustoff in the deal that brought Xavier McDaniel to New York. In recognition of that memorable moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund.
Mark, being perfectly honest with you, when that rule was first changed, it was interpreted by everyone as 3/10, 2/10, or 1/10 of a second could not be a possession. It had to be a tip to count when it went in. Above 3/10, you could have a possession shot attempt. Now they've retimed it over and over again, experimenting with it, and they feel at 3/10 it can be a quick possession. In other words, kind of an on-the-catch throw type of attempt, and they would count that with 3/10. 2/10, 1/10 must be a tip.
The Knicks free throw shooting has been very poor. 9 for 17 from the line. The Bulls 78. The Knicks 69. 3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. John Starks hit that three-point shot to tie the game at 61. Since then, the Bulls have taken over. That was kicked out by Jordan, who did not like the call.
And an obvious commitment now by New York, because Jordan has hurt him too many times, backing down into the low post area. Go get the ball out of his hands, make someone else do it.
Anthony played by Armstrong. Here's Wilkins. Wilkins on the recovery. Oakley with the putback. And the Bulls lead 78-71.
There is so much contact going on in this game that even when you get a wide open layup right in front of the rim, you don't believe it's happening. You think you're going to get hit by somebody, so you short arm it.
And Jordan is fouled. Oakley picks up number 4.
Gerald Wilkins with the dribble penetration, again getting inside the Chicago defense. Well, there's the challenge, but here he's all alone, but a little short because he thought there might be a little bit of action taking place behind him.
Jordan came off a double screen. Ewing with the rebound. The Bulls by 7. 4 minutes gone by in the fourth. Patrick Ewing cuts it to a 5-point Chicago lead.
And Will Perdue gave up that baseline position. He was trying to get his body against him and push Patrick out, but he got caught too high that time on the top side. It enabled Ewing to drop step to the baseline to get a good look at the rim.
Ewing showing some signs here in the fourth. Open shot for Scott Williams. Scott Williams in his second season out of North Carolina last year, the only rookie on the Bulls roster. Played very well during the playoffs a year ago. Wilkins called for the charge. That's number 4. Charge to Wilkins.
A few moments ago, Ewing being rooted out there by Perdue, but now as Perdue comes around topside, wrong time. He guessed wrong. It gave Ewing the clear path to the basket. Now, at the defensive end for Chicago, the rotations by Chicago are terrific. That's why we mentioned earlier, Ewing is reluctant to go to the basket on the pick and roll. He steps back for the clear shot.
Michael Jordan avoiding the double team, and Perdue's pass was intercepted.
Michael Jordan talking right now to Will Perdue, saying, look, take it strong, or you got a teammate right behind you. Try to stop the cross-court passes. They're difficult.
The foul was called on Scott Williams of Chicago. Well, there's John McEnroe and Tatum McEnroe. John, a regular here at Madison Square Garden, also at the Great Western Forum in Los Angeles. And John has joined NBC's commentary staff. In fact, will debut here at NBC at our coverage of the French Open. And our coverage of the NBA will continue with Portland and Phoenix Game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals, following the Knicks and the Bulls. The Phoenix Suns and the Portland Trail Blazers following the Knicks and the Bulls with 6:50 to go in this fourth quarter. The Bulls 80, the Knicks 73.
And even though they hold a 7-point advantage, Chicago has to be concerned. In the first half, perimeter shooting 12 out of 14. So far in the second half, only 3 out of 9. Perhaps the effect of the physical play.
Anthony from downtown that just did catch the front of the rim. And a loose ball foul is called, and Patrick Ewing screaming at Greg Anthony. Patrick Ewing very upset with Anthony. We've seen this on a number of occasions because of the poor shot selection by the rookie. Also, he has not been able to get the ball down low to Ewing in proper position consistently enough, and Pat Riley makes the immediate change. Mark Jackson checks in.
Patrick Ewing, and the foul taking place on the drive. Patrick Ewing understands that the way we got here was sticking with the game plan, understanding the program, believing in it, and then executing it. And you can't get caught up in the emotion of the afternoon and start breaking down everything. The strength of the Knicks is to get the ball to Patrick Ewing. Then he must become a decision maker. Take it to the basket, score, draw contact, put fouls on the opponents, or kick it out to open teammates. You have to have an understanding that your time will come, but it's when it's going to come, after the big fella makes his decisions.
Anthony Mason sitting down after picking up his 5th. This season, Patrick Ewing, though, has been playing at a very high emotional level, very fiery style, which we did not see in the past. He has become more of a leader. Oakley able to chase it down. Here's McDaniel fouled by Pippen.
That time, on the out-of-bounds play, Mark Jackson saw that no one was covering the backcourt for Chicago. All Oakley had to do was turn and go. Oak realized it a little bit late and happened to turn the wrong way. Jackson laid the ball out over the opposite shoulder. They were fortunate that Charles caught up with it, and then the attack there in trying to score.
Foul committed by Pippen. His 4th. And the Knicks free throw shooting now 9 for 18. The Knicks, during the course of the season, one of the worst foul shooting teams in the league at 73%. And McDaniel misses on both.
It becomes more important free throw shooting when you're a terrific defensive team and you know you lack points from your team. That means you're going to play a lot of close basketball games when you have to make your free throws.
Kept alive by Pippen.
The Knicks get so many people back in the lane to rebound that when a long one like that comes out, the other team sometimes comes up with it more often than you would anticipate.
Scott Williams on a pull-up. And Patrick Ewing with his 10th rebound.
Pick and roll, two-man basketball, screen, but he slipped it that time.
Patrick Ewing cuts it to a 7-point Chicago lead.
The difference in how long you hold the screen. Do you stop and draw contact on the defensive man, or do you start to come over and then slip it and go to the basket?
Pippen. Oh, strong move by Scottie Pippen. The Bulls lead 84-75 as we come up on 5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Ewing being played by Williams. Wilkins around Williams. Gerald Wilkins cuts it to a 7-point Chicago advantage. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad from Madison Square Garden. Game 3 of the best of 7. Series tied at 1. Game 4 tomorrow night. And we'll have it for you starting 6:30 Eastern Time. Here's Jordan. Scott Williams able to get to the loose ball, but he's bottled up. Jordan with the recovery, and Jordan is fouled. The basket counts in a foul, and Michael Jordan very upset about the way he was muscled.
What Jordan's upset about is Xavier McDaniel rotating across, just basically goes after his body to try and stop it. Jordan with the strength, the concentration, and now he is upset because he understands if he lands the wrong way, that could be the end of the season for him. Ahmad Rashad earlier this year had spent a day with Michael and gone through his workout training program and said it's really a difficult one. This guy has built his body up and added great strength to a great talent.
And I can understand Michael Jordan's point of view. A very hard foul given by Xavier McDaniel. And that upset Jordan. Yes, Michael works with a personal trainer, working only on his upper body. Says he's gained 20 pounds. He never really lifted weights before. He was afraid that it would mess up his shot or perhaps slow him down. He said he was prompted to start lifting because of the beatings that he was taking from the Detroit Pistons. Always felt that he was physically drained. We'll be right back.
Michael Jordan on the bench trying to stop the bleeding in his nose, and this is where it all came from. A few moments ago, Jordan taking it to the basket, New York trying to stop the dunk. Two Knicks go after him, Ewing in front of him that time. The contact, the concentration, and then Michael certainly not happy with the fact that there was a hard blow delivered after it follows up the score and goes after the Knicks. Not only physically, but verbally. He's sending a message here to New York. Let's go over to Ahmad for a second.
All right, Mike, you all were talking about Michael Jordan's workout routine. He, unlike many players in the league, works out every single day when they're at home, including the game day. He says he does it just to maintain his strength so he can keep driving to the bucket for the entire year, and he feels like that has really raised his game, so he's very durable at this point.
And Michael Jordan getting set to make his return. The basket counts, and the foul. Ewing was hacked, and he'll go to the line. So Patrick Ewing, very quiet most of the way, has turned it up here in the fourth.
Well, Patrick Ewing against Grant, that's a big, big plus for the Knicks. Too big, too strong. He gets into the middle of the lane area, close to the dotted line. You haven't seen that very often for Patrick Ewing.
And the Knick horrendous free throw shooting continues. 9 for 20 from the line. Ewing is 3 for 7. Bulls lead 87-79. 3:50 to go in the fourth quarter. Jordan for 3. Caught right, able to get it right back out.
That's their 6th offensive rebound this quarter for Chicago, a total of 12 for the basketball game.
Paxson for 3, and Oakley rebounds. Ewing setting the pick. Ewing, yes. So Ewing has 27. 19 of his 27 scored in the second half. The Bulls by 6. Jordan forced to give it up. Shot clock at 6. Pippen for 3. Scottie Pippen from downtown. That's his second three-pointer. And Pat Riley calling a 20-second timeout. The Bulls lead 90-81.
The great confidence in the fact that they can reverse the ball to an open teammate and that he has the ability to knock it out even with a rotating defensive player in his face. Pippen gets the good look. He certainly has the good stroke today, hitting 7 out of his 12 shots.
Pippen only a 20% three-point field goal shooter during the regular season, has hit on 2 of 2 from downtown this afternoon. We'll be back in a moment. Jordan still attempting to stop the bleeding off that hard hit leveled by Xavier McDaniel on the drive to the hoop. Scottie Pippen trying to assist. The combination of Jordan and Pippen coming up big this afternoon. 31 for Michael, 26 for Scottie. Bulls 90 and the Knicks 81. 2.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. McDaniel for 3. Xavier McDaniel normally does not seek the shot from downtown, but he's brought the Knicks within 6. A chant of defense from the crowd.
And it's the first time that New York has allowed 90 points or more in postseason play.
It's an offensive foul on Pippen. And he is fouled out. So Pippen leads with 26 points, but a very strong turn. He's played very well today, coming off the sprained ankle.
Patrick Ewing helping his teammate out, making the rotation, establishing position, and then absorbing the blow. The offensive foul by Pippen sends him to the bench, and Phil Jackson, a big decision here, who to come on with. Do you want defense? Do you want rebounding? Do you want another ball handler and shooter? He decides on Cliff Livingston, who was so big for them in the playoffs last season.
Scottie Pippen fouled out only twice during the course of the regular season. We come up on 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. The Knicks hanging around, down by 6. McDaniel again for 3. Jordan gets to it and calls for time. Michael Jordan diving along with Charles Oakley, and a timeout is called. We'll be back after these messages.
Jordan realizing that he may have to do it all, even get on the glass. 31 points, okay, 8 rebounds, okay, but on the floor, scrambling, coming up with it, and then the presence to call the quick timeout to save the possession.
So the Bulls and the Knicks with 2 timeouts remaining. They each have 4 team fouls. A minute 45 left in the fourth quarter. Chicago with the ball. They lead by 6. Shot clock at 5. Jordan working hard for the shot. Rebounded by McDaniel. And Xavier says it was deflected out by a Chicago player. Darryl Garretson looking for help, but the call is last touched by McDaniel.
Well, McDaniel felt that he was not the last one, that it was Grant who hit it from behind. Garretson felt that he just lost it off his hand that time.
Michael Jordan has hit only 1 of his last 6. 1:20 remaining in the fourth. Jordan got the step, and he's called for the offensive foul.
That time, instead of going after the block, knocking him to the floor, the Knicks tried to establish position. Wilkins tries for the slap from behind, but the white jerseys, 2 of them, rotate over to get good position. A little different look. Jackson there, Ewing coming from behind his head, Oakley there just in case. Mark Jackson with good position defensively.
Well, one thing's for certain, Michael Jordan has not been deterred from going to the drive despite the very physical play of the New York Knicks. Wilkins, way off, throws the air ball. And a foul has been called against the Knicks.
Well, Pat Riley has his bomb squad on the floor. Mark Jackson, Starks, Wilkins, guys that can get out there and knock some 3-pointers down, but the idea is to try and get one with your feet set and get a good look at the basket.
Darryl Wilkins heard the criticism here in New York off that ill-advised last-second shot in the playoff game against Detroit. Bounced back last Sunday with the good second-half effort against the Pistons. And Wilkins started strong here this afternoon. Hit a couple of jump shots early, but usually he's not the man down the stretch you want shooting from the outside.
And Mark, don't get me wrong, with a little bit over a minute remaining in the 6-point game, I'm not trying to say that you have to take 3-pointers. What you want is a score. You take the drive to the basket, make it happen, get into your pressure defense, try and force turnovers, or then you may have to foul after they get it over the half-court line. It's if they double back on Ewing and he kicks out and you happen to have a wide-open 3, then you go for it with that much time remaining.
32 for Jordan. Bulls by 7. Just under 1 minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Blocking foul on Paxson.
From New York's standpoint, exactly what you want to have happen. The ability to put points on the scoreboard. You don't lose any more time off the scoreboard. If he knocks these 2 down, they've got it to where it's a 5-point basketball game with just under 54 seconds remaining, which is plenty of time.
A reminder, tomorrow night to cap off wall-to-wall NBA playoff coverage here on NBC. It'll be the Bulls and the Knicks here at the Garden, 6:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 in the West. It'll be game 4 of this best of 7. Triple header action starting at 12 noon Eastern. Cavaliers and the Celtics, and then Utah and Seattle.
2 timeouts remaining for each team. Now the Knicks go into their full court pressure, trying to produce an early turnover, or they may have to eventually decide to take the foul and stop the clock.
And the Bulls have not shot well at the line.
Well, if you go this far down in the 24-second clock, then don't foul now. Dig in, get the stop, and go from there. No sense wasting anything by fouling late on the 24-second clock. If you do it early, that's one thing.
Shot clock at 1, and it is a 24-second violation. The basket will not count, so the Knicks call for time. They will be down to 1 timeout remaining. They trail by 5 points with 29 seconds to go in the 4th. Buzzer going off. They readjusted the clock. 30 and 2/10 seconds to go. In this 4th quarter, the Bulls lead 91-86. Chicago 2 timeouts left. Knicks have 1. The Knicks 3 of 8 from downtown.
The big decision for New York on that last possession by Chicago was, do you foul them right away when they come over the half-court line? If you did not get a steal in the backcourt, force them to go to the free throw line. Well, problem, B.J. Armstrong shoots over 80, Paxson 78, Jordan over 83. The worst free throw shooter on the floor at that time was Cartwright, just over 60 for the season. But once the 24-second clock ran down to 10-9-8, no sense fouling them. Dig in, get a stop. Now, with 30 seconds plus remaining, down 5 points, you don't have to take a 3. You need a combination of a 3, 2, or 2 and a 3. So you take your best opportunity, you score, get in your defense, try for a steal in the backcourt, and then foul immediately when they get over the half-court line.
Pat Riley has inserted Kiki Vandeweghe for his long-range touch. Starks putting the move on Armstrong. Not the shot he had in mind, and a foul is called on the Knicks. A loose ball foul with the Knicks over the limit. The Bulls to the line. Ewing is called for his 4th.
And you can certainly see Pat Riley's instructions taking place there. Don't stop for any pull-up jump shots. Take it to the basket, put it on the floor, try to draw contact so that we get to the free throw line, stop the clock, and put points on the board. Starks tried to do it, just did not get the ball.
And it's Cartwright to the line, as you mentioned. Has not shot well at the free throw line at 60%. Earlier in his career, a very solid free throw shooter.
Well, he gets away from you, and
that's true.
There it is. His shot's gone from the free throw line.
I didn't quite look at it in that manner. Bulls lead by 6. And the Knicks use their final timeout. 23 and 6/10 seconds to go in the 4th. The Bulls with a 6-point lead. We'll be right back. Assistant coach Johnny Bach in a discussion with Darryl Garrettson. The clock reset once again, and the Bulls were wondering why. Now 24 and 2/10 seconds to go in this 4th quarter. The Bulls 92 and the Knicks 86.
And Darryl Garrettson explained the reason for the clock being changed. The ball was tipped, then grabbed, and he said 6/10 to the second, off the clock.
Knicks using their final timeout, trailing by 6. Jordan able to break it up. Thanks to our producer, Tommy Roy, our director, Andy Rosenberg, Mr. Stats, Elliot Kalb, handling the statistical work. Look at some of the stats concerning 3-point field goals for the Knicks this season. Ewing for 3. Rebounded by Starks. He was blocked. Here's Jackson for 3. Time running out of the Knicks. Wilkins for 3. A 3-point festival here in the final seconds. The ball still alive. Now the clock is stopped with the whistle. Only 3 seconds remaining, and a foul has been called. It's on Ewing.
Michael Jordan telling Phil Jackson, relax, coach. We got this one right now. Relax.
Well, coming up next, as you look at the Western Conference brackets, Portland and Phoenix resume their series. The Trailblazers winning the first 2. You'll see game 3 of the Western Conference semifinals. Kevin Johnson and the Phoenix Suns going up against Clyde Drexler and the Portland Trailblazers. That's next, right here on NBC. High point man of the game, Michael Jordan with 32, a solid performance by Jordan. Scottie Pippen, who fouled out, with 26. Patrick Ewing came on late. He has 27. And the Chicago Bulls have taken a 2-1 lead in this best of 7 playoff series. A very physical game once again. I have a feeling we will hear some complaints from Michael Jordan and the Bulls about the Knicks' physical style. Bulls win it 94-86. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.